Welcome back to season 2 of Authentically Peculiar with Marcia. I am your host, Marcia Blaine, a licensed professional counselor, a clinical hypnotherapist, an author, motivator, and life coach. Join us during this season as we begin to normalize freedom. Authentically Peculiar with Marcia. Welcome back to Authentically Peculiar with Marcia. That's all I can do. Because she is like one of my absolute favorite people.
Thank you.
Madame Riche Ivie Williams. Now, I know in season 1, you all have already heard from Riche, but she's back because she always levels up. Always. I, this is one young person that keeps me on my toes. She makes me find new ways to reinvent myself. She brings out new stuff and be like, Shay, I need that. I need to. And she's one person that I would trust with the identity of my business and my personality. So, Riche is a licensed professional counselor. She is certified in so many different modalities, but that ain't even her best stuff, y'all. Her best stuff is her ability to create. Literally, you can give her a pinch of your vision and she gonna make it come to pass. That's actually her true gift. She's a great therapist, don't get me wrong, but that is actually her gift. She can take what you're saying to her and bring it to life. On top of being a wonderful therapist, a great creator, she's a wife and a mom. I want to say to my beautiful babies, I'll be trying not to go into the grandparent role, but you know how I do. I was one of the first few text calls they received. I'm about to have this baby. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's been 7 years. 6 years, almost. Yeah, 6 years.
Ooh.
I know. And Riche and I met sitting near each other in training class at the VA. Mm-hmm. And we were all talking about meeting people or following each other on Facebook. Lo and behold, I was already following her. I said, I know somebody really good that y'all need to follow. I said, her name is Shay Ivie. She put a lot. She said, that's me. And we have hit it right. We have hit it off ever since. So I am so glad again for your yes. Shay is involved in so many things, and she's going to let you know that at the end of our discussion today. We're actually talking about the true ability to tap into your passion as you find yourself and then incorporate it into your purpose. That's what we're here for today. Anything before we get started?
No, I'm grateful to be here. That's a good opening. I'm like, woo, that's me.
That's you. Own it, wear it, embrace it. It's all of you.
Thank you.
One of the reasons why I reached out to Shay is because I know Shay and myself, we've battled with things like our identity. We've battled with specifically weight loss, trusting ourselves in this journey, in this life process. And I wanted to bring Shay on because you really just started loving you.
Yes.
And in that loving of you, you decided, I need a break. Yes. So tell us about that.
Oh, it felt like a hard decision, like a really hard decision. It started off as a joke.
Uh-huh.
And I think
take it as a joke. I'm just saying.
Me and my husband were talking, and I was like, I need a 30-day, because most people be like, oh, a 4-day weekend coming up, a 5-day weekend. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I need a 30-day weekend.
Mm.
And so I was like, let me put that on Facebook. It's so funny. Like, but a lot of people agreed. And then one of my friends, like a few weeks later, was like, what do you need? Because I was exhausted, tired. I knew I was headed for burnout.
Got you.
And she was like, what do you need? I was like, I need a few months off. And so she said, well, what can you do to make that happen? And I was like, what you mean? Like, I was like, then I was like, oh, she being real. She being for real. I was like, wait, I was like, let me get back to you. Let me crunch some numbers. Because we got to pay the bills.
We got to pay the bills. Life's going to keep lifing.
Life is good. The bills, Georgia Power does not care if I'm working or not. They just want they want their check every month.
That check.
So I had to go crunch the numbers, and I came back and I said I could do a month. I wanted to take longer, but I said, let me do a month. And so 30-day vacation, 30-day weekend began in July, where I stopped taking, I didn't see it one soul, one client.
The whole month of July?
The whole month of July. So I refocused on myself. It was scary because I was not working. No income was coming in. And I emptied my bank accounts to survive. But I knew the other side of that, I was going to be better, because had I kept going down the path that I was going in, I don't know if I'd be sitting here right now. Like,
right.
I don't know where I was.
Medical conditions, stress overload, just feeling disconnected. It's so easy to get into that wishful place. I just wish I wasn't here. What would happen if I wasn't here? How, all of those kind of things come up. And listen, for all these folks that lie and say that people don't be having them thoughts of wishing they weren't here, those are actually called passive suicidal thoughts, and people have them every day because life, right? And we're not in control, but we're so afraid to break away that we'll burn out, we'll complete our lives, we'll shut down, end up in an institution, all kind of stuff, all because we live in an environment that requires us to work until we die.
Yes.
And so when you said, I'm taking this 30-day weekend, that registered with me. And it was just like, because I keep saying, I can't wait to retire because I got so much I need to do. And then it's like, but you need to vacate. So tell me about your 30-day process. What was going on in that process?
A lot of randomness.
Okay. A lot of randomness. No planned schedules.
It was some plans here and there. Of course, I had to wrap up some website projects I was working on for other therapists, wrap those up at the beginning of July so I could really focus on me. And I think I was exercising mostly.
You were.
I was exercising most of July, almost every day. I slowed down a little bit now, but every day I was getting up to go walking or get in the garage and do some weights, get on the treadmill. I found some way to move my body. I don't so much felt like it. Helping my daughter get her driver's license
and get ready for school,
get ready for college. So that was big in July. So it felt like it went by fast, but I was really enjoying myself just going out, which was, I hadn't gone out like with friends and stuff like that in a long time. I was like, ooh, I'm in the streets. I'm outside.
Yes.
So I was like, ooh, I'm really outside and enjoying COVID had me under this, feel like a veil for a really long, like I had gotten used to being inside. So July, I kind of opened that up more. And so most of it was exercising, preparing daughter for college, and just focusing on me, journaling, get my mind right, so that I could also revamp my business so that it would be more accommodating for me and not more so for my clients.
And so that's 2 areas, actually 3, that I want to dive into, because I do want to dive into the entrepreneurial process. But the first process was deciding to love you. How did you get there?
I think I got to I know it's cliche to say it, the sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I had noticed this cycle
Yeah.
that my body was going through. It was like a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would have 2 or 3 good weeks of like, okay, I got some energy. But then by week 3 or 4, my body was like, shut down. Mm-hmm. I'm tired. You need to stop. Mm-hmm. And then that was my life for probably a year or 2. Like
it was. I remember us talking about a medical condition. I said, I need you to stop and go to the doctor.
Yeah.
And I that was y'all know I can get into my mama mode. And I did. Because I was just like, no, we're not burning out. We're not burning our bodies up.
Right.
For a job, a business. Oh no, we can't do that.
No.
Yeah.
No. So my body was doing the for years. And so I had gotten to the point where I was like, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And I noticed the quality of my sessions with my clients were declining. And I was like, I have an ethical obligation here to not service people anymore.
Say that yeah.
I have an ethical obligation to stop seeing clients when my quality of my sessions, I can't give them what they deserve in session. And I noticed that was on the decline. So I was like, no, they deserve better. And so that means I have to step back. That's an ethical obligation.
To step back because one, a lot of therapists aren't seeing therapists because they know that we're therapists, and then they decide they want to have us do therapy for them. So we have to find different balances. I do have a therapist, but I actually have a connection with people that I talk to, because I don't always want to go in to talk to a therapist and you telling me you want me to help you with therapy.
Right.
Right. And so, because all of that could lead to actual burnout. And so you recognize that I'm pouring out, not even from a half empty cup, but about a fourth remaining.
That thing was burning oil.
You were on the cusp. Okay.
That thing, by the end of May, June, that thing was burning oil. Yeah. Like, I ain't changed the oil in a while, and it's just
you
burning.
Got to burn the motor out.
Out. And so I noticed that, and I was like, if I keep going, and I thought about like, well, maybe if I just change how many people I see a week,
but you have to know when it's time to shut it down. And it's not a failure to shut down to take care of you. It's kind of like just any relationship. If you're pouring all of you into other people and you not being poured back into, you're going to burn out.
Oh, yeah.
That irritability, did you experience that? Anger,
irritability,
depression, frustration, ready to fight and walk away, right? And cussing folks out. Because you get to a place, and I share this with my clients a lot, and I want you to tell me your thoughts about it. We often give more of who we are to other people because we secretly desire it to come back. And when it doesn't come back,
we get angry, we get upset, why is they not doing this XYZ for me? And then now we're not giving from a place of genuine care and concern and love. We're more so giving from a place of anger or a desire to get back instead of just, no, I'm doing this because this is what I love doing.
And that's why it's so important as you began tapping into yourself on this journey and saying, this is how I need to love me in order for others to understand that. How did you get to a place of recognizing this is what I need to love me so that I can communicate to others in addition to my self-love? I need this.
I got to the bottom, the absolute bottom. And I knew that if something needed to change.
Got you.
Change needed to happen. And if I stay here and do nothing, nothing's going to change. Or if I keep doing the same thing, That's insanity. And
expecting a different result.
Doing the same thing over and over again. And I realized this isn't going to cut it.
Right.
So I was like, okay, something different needs to happen and we need to figure it out. So the 30-day weekend was my way to figure it out, to figure out what is, I needed time to stop and think and process. And trucking along the same way I wasn't going to allow me to do that.
Right. How proud are you of yourself for doing that?
Very proud. It was scary. Yes. I was scared. I was so scared. Very proud though, because I feel better most days. I'm not saying every day is perfect, but most days I wake up with more energy. I have more people asking me, how you getting up every day and exercising and
what we're going to talk about, right? Because one of the things that made me reach out, I said, Riche, we need to do an episode on tapping into your passion because we've been on this roller coaster of losing weight and gaining weight back and all that kind of stuff. But you tap into a source inside of you of passion where there is no going back. Talk to me about that.
Tapping into the passion, because I am more excited to get up and love on me each day. And that's the passion. What fueled the passion was my health, my mental health and my physical health.
Okay, nice.
They were in the trash. And I need to get it out, dust it off, revamp, do some repairs, some CPR on both my mental health and my physical health. So I was like, okay, got me a therapist, check, get my mental health in order, but also along the lines, looking at my physical health.
Right.
And my family's, my lineage of their physical health and how most people have died in my family. And I was like,
so did you do like a genogram?
Didn't do a genogram. I just kind of thought about the deaths in my family, specifically on my father's side, some on my mom's side, but mostly on my father's side. They're dying because of physical health issues. And I was like, if I could try to prevent it, I don't want my physical health to be the reason that I go.
And so to explain to the audience about a genogram is a mapping tool that we use so that we can identify some of the connections that may cause you to respond to certain behaviors. So for me, when I did a genogram, I shared it with the men in my family. I said, listen, y'all die from alcoholism, other substance abuse, and cancer. That's your trait. You all need to be making some different choices about how you living, right?
Yeah.
The women were just dying from old age. I mean, they was dying, no issues medically. On my mom's side, they just up and died.
Right.
You know, and so even their medical history was clean bill of health. They still can't tell me why my mama died. You know what I'm saying? And so, but like even on my dad's side, diabetes, dementia and stuff like that. So now I'm a little bit more aware that one, you can't be overweight. We got to get this off. Two, you got to always exercise that muscle in your brain,
right?
So it doesn't fall to the things. And once you use that genogram, it really will give you an insight on things like broken marriages and why the number of issues where people had issues, having babies, all kind of stuff. It's where you have an awareness. What's your thoughts about that? Because you did the history mentally.
In my head. And I think that's important for people to look at to see what does run in my family. Because that's going to give you some indication of, well, what am I carrying in this lineage, in these generations ahead? What am I teaching either my nieces and nephews or my children or other people that are around me? How to care for themselves, because if they see and they're inundated with what's in front of them, most of the time people are going to repeat the patterns, whether consciously or unconsciously. And I was like, I don't want to do this consciously or unconsciously. I just want to be healthier. And like you said, the diabetes, the cardiac problems, strokes, mostly diabetes and cancer.
Okay.
And there was other substance abusers in my family that died from that. So I wanted to get healthier because I saw my numbers.
Yes.
And those numbers said I was pre-diabetic, and I've been pre-diabetic for a few years now. Never crossed the threshold of diabetes, but I didn't want to get there. I was pushing it. I saw my highest weight this year, and I just stared at that number. And I was like, how did I get here?
That's a good jumping point, because if you never ask yourself the how, you'll repeat it. So what did you find out about yourself?
I was living in autopilot.
Why do you think that is?
I think I stopped caring about me.
Did you stop caring about you, or did you lose the identity of you?
Probably both.
Okay.
Because I think once COVID hit, because I remember I looked at pictures of myself too, and right up until about COVID hit, I was gaining weight, but then when COVID hit, I was already a homebody anyway, so I got excited about COVID, not the negative effects of people dying. I don't want to, dismiss anybody's negative experiences with COVID, but I got excited about hunkering down at the house.
And I'm controversial. It worked really, really
It worked well for me to be at home, so I didn't have the social withdrawals some other people were having.
Yeah.
So, but I got too comfortable with being at home to the point of I wasn't dressing up anymore. The makeup, I love makeup. And that's a kind of indication people know, like, if Shay put on makeup or not.
Something going on. Because I kept saying, okay, she made up in a minute. Here I am, was sitting there in awe, saying, I just gotta learn how to beat my face.
And I stopped doing that. COVID kind of gave me the excuse to be in the pajamas or be on Zoom with a nice shirt on and some pajama pants at the bottom and a blanket and snuggle shoes. So I got comfortable.
Got you.
And then I was like, I got to a point where, like, this is how I got here. This COVID just continued for me.
So do you think, so COVID escorted you in, but it couldn't have escorted you in if you weren't already at the brink? What was that brink that said, come on over here? You could just relax and chill.
I think I got tired of the fast-pacedness of everything.
Okay.
So when COVID came down and slowed everything down, I was like, whoo, like, this is nice, slowing down. I was like, okay, we're slowing down here. Things are at the pace that I like.
Yeah.
So I got really comfortable with that. So because I'm not a fast-paced person. I'm very slow. I need time to transition. Fast-pacedness just burns me out. Gotcha. So I was already just tired of all the do. So I was like, my weekends became free, and I could sit at the house and watch TV, snack, and see clients.
And y'all love to cook, so
that got worse. The cooking got worse. So it wasn't the have lunch at work type thing, and then come home, and it wasn't the traditional, like, with you being at home, you have access to food faster.
Right.
So the food's right downstairs or in the next room. So all you had to do was just get up from your desk and go eat.
Yeah.
So it wasn't lunchtime is this time and that's it. No, snack time was all day.
Yeah. And it does. It creates bad habits, right? That kind of pushes you to a place of sabotage. And then now you have to do the work, right? So as you were going through the work, doing this 30-day weekend, what were some things, you mentioned journaling, but what were some other things outside of that and working out that you had to work on? Was there any inner work that you had to work on?
Yes, the inner work did happen.
Okay.
Mostly through journaling and seeing my therapist, and also shifting my mindset was a part of that. So, what I was listening to changed. I was reading forgot her name. She's in charge of the NAP ministry. And so I started really listening to her about rest, especially for Black people, and the need for rest according to our lineage.
Yeah.
And what our ancestors had to go through because they didn't have the opportunity to rest.
Right.
So I really shifted my mindset around how I envision rest for myself and shifted how I thought about myself. Because even though I'm not at the finish line of where I want to be, I needed to start loving myself now, not future shame.
Yeah.
Because if I'm staying in the future, then how present? I'm not enjoying the present moment.
That's the authentic part. You gotta be here.
Right.
If you're more focused there, you can't be present here.
Oh, no.
And there isn't a promise.
Exactly.
Right now is.
Right now is
and
a promise.
I think that's where people get caught up. They get stuck in the past because of the experience. They want to run to the future because they think they know what they see. So they skip the now stage and then get burned out if they continue on.
Right. Right. So, and I noticed once I started loving who I am in this moment, the weight kind of shifted off a little bit easier versus me stressing out about losing the weight. So it was a different shift for me. Instead of focusing on the scale, focusing on who I was, focusing on who I can be. No, let me love me for right now because this is who I am right now. This is me.
Period. How did you get to the point where you stopped making excuses to you?
That one. Stop making excuses. I want to say it was the physical health piece was in the burnout. Because I was like, well, if I know I want change to happen, I have to do something different. And that's gonna eventually also pour into what is my mindset every morning when I wake up. Because I've been on the stop and go of wellness and losing weight. And I would wake up in the morning and put the snooze button and go right back to sleep. Or I used to say, I'll do it tomorrow. So those were the excuses. I'll try again later. And so I had to change that.
Right. You had to become intentional. And not only what you were thinking, what you were speaking, but what you were committing yourself to.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of people miss it. Because we can say all day, I'm going to work out, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, right? But if your intention doesn't change, right? I was at the gym, not this morning was a beast, but 2 weeks ago, and my cousin, who's my trainer, said, why are you here? And I said, my intention has changed. I know how to lose weight, but my intention, he was like, I need to write that down. I need to get it to somebody. For me, my intention had to change because I know what to do. But what was in my mindset?
That part.
So when I began to change here, and y'all know I got that saying, if you change your mouth, you change your heart, you change your mind, you change your action. I had to actually shift it. I had to change my mind so my mouth could attest to my change so that my heart could say, oh, we in, and then my actions could follow through. And that's the simple process. We can make excuses all day, but our truth is we owe ourselves intention.
Exactly.
In the now.
In the now.
In the now. Yeah.
In the now. Yeah, the mindset. I tell people, I said, you want to know the secret to losing weight? Your mindset.
Change your mind.
You have to. You have to work on your mental health. If not, this is what fuels everything we do. Because
and I don't know why people don't understand that. You got two superpowers. The first actually is your mouth, what you're speaking.
Right.
Because your mouth is the generator of what ends up in your head.
Exactly.
And so if you're not using your words to empower you, then you're using your words to abuse you. And that abusive nature is the thing that's been running rampant.
Right.
And so now that you had to switch and be like, yeah, my intentions have changed, and body, you have no choice but to get up because we're working out. How did that feel when you come in there? Because a lot of people think I can't control my thoughts.
Oh, yes, you can.
Oh, yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Tell them about that.
You can. You have to first for me, I'm a little bit different kind of therapist when I talk about changing your thoughts and changing your mind, is getting to the bottom of where it comes from.
Root cause, yes, ma'am.
The root cause is important to me. Some therapists don't care about the root cause.
I don't know. I'm gonna stop for a second. Because for me, I am a root cause baby. Regardless if you come to see me for therapy or life coach or even business consultation, I need the root. Because when we can extract that root,
then we can grow and change differently.
yes.
It's the same as a tree.
Come on now.
If a tree has bad roots, what is it going to, what's the fruit of the tree going to do?
And even the thing that I love about trees in that analogy is I can look at the root on the surface and it look like it's gone. But underneath, it's still vibing and thriving, but it could cause me not to have growth.
Right.
And when we apply that in our own lives, you have to get to, so I cut you off because I get excited about talking about that root. You got to get to the root. You got to
get to the root. And so I had to get to the root of what was going on within me and stop ignoring it, work on it, stop avoiding, and like you said, be intentional about what's going on within me so that I can see change.
Yes. But you were seeing change from a light, not a change from darkness.
Right.
And that's the difference, because a lot of people see change from a lens of darkness because they don't know how to extract their roots. So everything is negative about them. I remember, I think I posted this last week maybe, or the week before, and I was saying that I had posted some stuff and it was good stuff. But everybody was so concerned about my hair and what I look like. And I found myself, my body got angry. And so I had to say, whoa, where is this coming from? And I went back to my high school years as an athlete where more people focused on my physicality versus my ability to win races, my ability to shoot 20 points a night, whatever that was. And it was infuriating because I would hear stuff like, yeah, you know, Marcia, that yellow one, man, you can go out there and watch her titties jump. And it was horrible.
Right.
And so I had to embrace and remind myself, oh no, they don't get to be in my now. I'm almost 55 years old. Why is this coming up? So you have to actually go back to those roots. If you're having a behavioral response to something, 9 times out of 10, it's the residue of your past.
Yes, 9 times out of 10. Every time you have a trigger, whether it's a thought, a behavior, or a sensation in your body, oh yes, it's not the first time you've had that thought, trigger, or sensation in your body. It's coming from somewhere.
Talk about that somatic response.
Our bodies remember. Our bodies keep the score. I don't know how many of you've heard that book, The Body Keeps the Score. Our body does keep the score. Over there on the show. Almost every therapist I know has that book. And it basically, in a nutshell, our bodies hold on to those memories where it may have been some type of trauma response going on. And when I say trauma response, it doesn't have to be a car accident or an assault or rape. It doesn't have to be something major. It could be something as a family member saying something negative about you, saying you're ugly.
That bottom line of the hierarchy.
Right.
The safety, the protection, the belonging. Belonging is huge.
Right.
Most people don't realize that when they experience that abandonment and rejection, that's actually trauma.
That's trauma. It's trauma.
Oh, girl, you just too sensitive. No, you're not.
Right. I think I've heard that a lot from my clients where they'll say that they grew up and their family members or their parents will tell them, oh, you're too sensitive. You're too sensitive. And I was like, whoa. Is it that you were too sensitive or your parents didn't know how to attend to your needs?
That part.
Right. And embrace you and help you redirect to co-regulate and learn some self-regulation skills.
Listen. And people don't realize how true it is. That's why I'm so grateful that I am a trauma trained therapist and specialize specifically in trauma, because I recognize that most of the issues that people experience in their now are trauma based. And when you get to talking to people about what they experience and you mention that trauma based, they're like, I feel seen. Right? Because somebody is finally acknowledging when you got that push away as a young person because they felt like you was too needy, that was your first instance of rejection. Right. Trauma. It's trauma. And so when you're reacting as an adult because somebody pushed you away or don't have time for you, it's not your now. It's the residue.
Right. You got to go deal with the residue, heal and patch that up. Because I tell clients all the time is that I can't promise that you won't get hurt again.
Right.
I can't promise that you won't get rejected. Somebody's going to tell you no or hurt you. But what I can do is if we can go back and patch that up, you know how to deal with anything that comes towards you to harm you differently.
Yes.
And it won't feel the same.
And you'll be more in control to recognize your why.
Right.
Why am I responding like this now? That's usually one of the first homework assignments to my clients. I need you to go back and think about some of your recent behavior responses. Write them down. Identify what happened and your why, so we can go ahead and break this down.
Right.
We got to extract those roots, replace them with affirmations. I'm huge on affirmations because I believe that, again, our words are our power.
Right.
And we have to affirm our intent.
Exactly.
And so, we could do this for several hours. I ain't going to do you like that today. But we could. I want you to shift a little bit and talk to the audience about purpose, passion, learning when.
Yeah, that's a tall order. It's a tall order.
You got it.
So purpose and passion can be two different things. When I hear the word passion, it's something that you're probably very excited about, something that drives you, gets you up and gets you going. Like there's this energy that comes across your body when you think about it. That's your passion. And your purpose is, to me, the reason why you're on earth. But that can change.
I'm gonna be quiet.
It doesn't have to be one thing. Your purpose can change in different seasons. Period.
Because really, your purpose is more attached to your innate ability. And as you evolve and grow, so shall your purpose.
Correct.
Okay, I ain't gonna interrupt. Keep going because you get me excited.
And so my purpose in my 20s is totally different from my purpose in my 30s. And soon I'll be 40. And I'm sure my purpose in my 40s will be different. In my 20s, I was hustling. I was going to school. I was taking care of my daughter. I was doing all kinds of stuff. But now I'm in a season of slowing down, readjusting, recalibrating. And now my purpose of who I see and who I serve has changed.
Because you ain't got to see everybody.
I ain't got to see and serve everybody. I did community and charity work in my 20s. That's when I had the hustling energy. I ain't got the hustling energy no more.
But the truth is yes, that the hustling energy, but when you mature, you recognize that we are energy sources. And as an energy source, we recognize that we have to own the energy that we want to give out.
Correct.
And everybody doesn't deserve our energy. I specifically in therapy, I don't accept everybody as a client.
No.
Because number one, I ain't desperate for money. Because my gift gonna make room for me and I'm gonna make money regardless.
Right.
But number two, I have to protect my energy. Because if I don't, then what?
Right.
Burnout.
Burn out. And so in my 30-day weekend, I recognized one of my friends pointed out, she said, Shay, you're a trauma therapist. I said, yes, I know. You're not a level 1 trauma therapist. You're right in the middle. You're the next step. And I was like, what you mean? And so she was like, you're tired of working with folks that maybe don't know that they have trauma. And I said, yeah, I'm tired of explaining why we doing body work.
Right.
I'm tired of explaining why I'm doing I need people. Now I'm in the season of when people come to me, they know they have trauma and they're ready to do the work and go deeper. So they're after the aha moment.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, now what do I do? So I'm not I tell people, if you haven't been to therapy before, you may not want to come to me. I'm probably your second or third stop on your journey. And so since I've changed my wording and my copy and my whole business design, I'm getting more people coming in saying, talk therapy didn't work for me. I'm coming to you now because I need to work somatically. And I'm like, there we go. Exactly. There we go. So now who I work with has shifted.
Because you became intentional, right? I had someone to ask me the other night, what type of therapist are you? I'm not really sure what you're asking me. I'm eclectic. I have to dabble in everything so you can get where your ultimate goal is. So if we're doing somatics, yeah, that's where we're going to be.
Right.
If you're the one that just need to come in and vent, that's just straight talk therapy. I'm going to let you sit there and vent till you probably get on my nerves, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit you with some homework, and then we're going to be straight. Right. Because that's where your level is.
Right.
Now, when you want to cross the bridge and actually go into healing, we go into trauma level 2.
Right.
We're about to dig in. You're going to hate me, but you're going to love me.
Right.
And I'm so okay with it, but you're going to heal in the process.
Right.
And so when I shared it to that young man that way, he said, I don't even know what to say. I said, you probably need to start seeing a level 1 therapist so that you can find out where you want to be. And then when that stops working, you can start bridging over.
Right.
But as a therapist, you have to know you can't work with everybody.
You have to, or you're going to burn yourself out trying to figure out everybody's stuff and everybody's problem. That's why I was like, I don't know how people are general therapists and they just work with every issue under the sun, because I feel good working and operating in my lane,
period,
and my specialty and my niche, because I've done the homework, I've done the trainings, and I get excited. Yes. I get passionate about learning about trauma. I love it. I love reading about it. So,
and it's so amazing because I'm like, I don't think I could ever be a general therapist because of my attraction to trauma and holistic therapy. I know my first introduction to the mental health psyche and things of that nature was in high school. And because of that, I knew I needed to understand the why behind behavior.
Right.
And once I knew that, I needed to understand how trauma correlated and how our bodies responded. So that's why I do a combination of all these therapies on top of hypnotherapy and on top of Reiki, because your body has to get in alignment. Exactly. And so when you talk about staying in your lane and recognizing, even as an entrepreneur, because I've watched you evolve and I've watched you hesitate to evolve, but you finally said, it's okay.
Yes.
What got you to the place where you started honoring the gifts inside of you and utilizing them to incorporate in your now?
What got me here? I guess I stopped being apologetic, because I would apologize or I would feel shame or guilt when people tried to say I should be working a certain way, or I should be charging this, or I should be seeing this, and so I said I had to stop that, because then I was catering to everybody else's wants and needs for me instead of listening to myself. And listening to yourself and doing and catering to yourself and loving yourself and showing up authentically is scary.
It is.
Because people can reject you, people gonna talk about you, people gonna judge you. And I got to the point I was like, so.
And I was getting ready to say, when you tap into your true self, your true self-love for you, it doesn't matter who rejects you. It doesn't matter who supports you. I know right now on social media, it's all about building your numbers and all the following and all of that kind of foolishness that goes with it. But if it causes me to stray away from my authentic nature, that means I'm giving other people more control over who I am than myself. And so you're right, that fear of rejection is typically a trauma response that you have to go back in and grab the root on, well, why am I afraid of being rejected? Because it's not meant for everybody to like me or my product.
No, we're not.
And you're so free now.
And also a part of that was accepting that I have ADHD.
Okay.
And I'm not neurotypical. I grew up thinking that I felt like I was different because some of the social nuances I wouldn't get, and I would be like, that's weird, or I would mask and people please. And masking is a lot of things that I know that neurodivergent folks do. We mask to blend in with the general population so that we won't be looked at as weird or crazy or as an outcast. Because I was an outcast in high school. So I had to get comfortable with being an outcast.
How about just being comfortable with you?
Yeah.
Wouldn't matter if you were outcast or whatever those labels are.
Right.
Because, well, I'm a peculiar one. So boxes just ain't been something that I fit in anyway.
Right.
But when we change the verbiage on it to I wasn't supposed to fit.
No.
We take that energy out.
Exactly.
And so what I hear you saying is I decided to deflate the energy of others so I could be me. Excuse me. Yeah.
I had to. Or else I was going to be chasing behind what everybody else wanted from me or what everybody else saw for my goals in my life. Because if I had not walked into my authenticity of who I am, take off the mask and just show up as myself, then I would still be on this rat race.
On that wheel.
On the wheel, trying to keep up, tired of trying to people please and be what everybody else wants.
But then you started loving you. 30-day weekend. I like that better than a 30-day vacation.
Right.
Because what it says to me, and maybe I'm wrong, is I get to be on a prolonged time off and enjoy, because we don't enjoy during the week, we wait for the weekend, right? And that was the message I got. And I was just like, Shay, you on to something. You need to write a book about that. I'm just telling you. You need to stop thinking and go on and get it out there, because the number of people that can free themselves up from the fear of working till they die, fear of trusting themselves, fear of taking a chance on themselves, because that's what you did. You got over working till you die. You got over the fear of trusting yourself and started trusting yourself, and you took a chance.
Right.
Not saying that watching the numbers in the bank account dwindle temporarily, because you bring it right back up.
Right.
But you honored you. What would you say to others if they ask the question, Shay, how can I get started? What would you say?
How can they get started? I would say assess your mental health first. Assess what's going on in here. How do you think about yourself? Because some people don't pay attention to that inner voice. Start slowing down and listening. How do you talk about yourself? Do you beat up on yourself a lot? Or are you giving yourself grace? Where's grace is needed? Are you patient with yourself? Or are you trying to keep up with what everybody else is doing? Evaluate this first. That can be the starting point. Is okay, what do I need to change about how I'm thinking about myself? And where did I learn to think that way? Because that's going to give you a lot of indication of also who is around you that's maybe feeding you some of these messages about who you are. We want to surround ourselves with people that are like-minded, of course, that can challenge us when we need to be checked. We don't want to be around a bunch of yes people. We want folks that are going to challenge us. But are people around you also feeding you positive messages about you?
And not always ripping or taking from you.
Right.
One of the things that I would add too is know where you are financially. So that that's not an excuse.
Right.
To take the needed break. I have so many clients right now who desperately need to be off work. And I told one today, I said, baby, if you don't take this time off work, I don't know if you're going to be here much longer. And she said, I know. There's not a job situation or family that should be allowed to get you into such a state that you aren't living or existing. You're passing through.
Passing through.
That's a tough space to be in.
It is.
So I'm telling you all that this dynamic beauty right here got some tea that she can help you with. Now, I don't know if she's taking any clients right now because she got her hands in so many other things. If you ever go to peculiarone.com, that's my web designer. We get the opportunity tomorrow, and I want you to talk about the Pearls of Esther for a moment, to go to this beautiful masquerade ball that she's been trying to get me to come out to events. And I finally gave myself permission because I am a true introvert. You know, I deal with people because I have to. And any other projects that you have going on?
Well, the Pearls of Esther is a nonprofit, not my nonprofit. I have sat on the board. I'm actually stepping down after this event. That's one of the other changes I had to make because I had to reevaluate how much was on my plate. And I love the Pearls of Esther and their mission. So that's why I served on their board. And it's ran by one of my dear friends, Brandy Stinson. And she's a therapist herself. And so I love her passion that she has for it is geared towards women and entrepreneurship, wellness, mental health, and helping also women that attend HBCUs in the Atlanta area to get scholarships as well. So the Pearls of Esther organization has a great purpose and a great mission of how they are set out to help women. And the event tomorrow is the inaugural masquerade ball. I need to get my mask.
Baby, mine is ready.
I feel so terrible, y'all.
Mine is ready.
But it is tomorrow evening, and I'm so excited about this event. It's been a long time in the making. Unmasking. Beyond the Mask has been just an event that's been held mostly every year. But this is the first year where it's actually been more of a ball and a formal event. So I'm really excited. I think last time I heard they had like 10 or 15 tickets left. So I'm excited about this event and just seeing what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love the energy in my 30 plus group, especially therapists, because you all push us in our 50s to go harder for the things that we are passionate about, to live in that space of freedom. And I love it. I do love it. Tell people how to get in contact with you.
Well, I feel like email or social media is the best place. Because I have two different websites. My main website for therapy is healingspotATL.com. That's where you can find me for therapy. ShayNicole.com is focusing on my website work. I actually work with their other therapists to create their websites and designs. Not taking people until October, late October, because I'm backed up. So that's a good thing.
I'm going to
take those blessings and be very grateful for them. Or you can reach me at hello@ShayNicole.com.
Shay, it is always a privilege to have you somewhere near me. That's all I can say. Privilege to have you near me. I'm so excited for all the work that you're doing in the counseling field, the borders of the counseling field, building websites, speaking engagements, the whole 9 yards. You do this industry proud, and I'm so proud that you said yes today as we talked about gaining your passion, understanding your purpose, going through the process, but ending up loving you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
you. Thank you so much. So you all stay tuned. Continue to watch season 2 of Authentically Peculiar with Marcia. We got a lot more in store for you. But this one right here, y'all go ahead and follow her. Like, share, comment, tell your folks about it. Take good care. We'll see you soon. Follow us on your favorite streaming app.